Well, that retirement lasted about as long as Brett Favre before signing with the Jets. But hey, technically I'm not lying. I did say that the next time I post on this channel, if and when I do, it will be in a different context than my usual long-form gameplay series videos. And on this particular occasion, it would be a bit weird if I didn't say anything, since I have been a backyard sports YouTuber for almost 4 years now. So I'm here to break the news to you if you haven't heard already, but I'm also here to react to the news that the backyard sports franchise is apparently being revived. I'm recording this on August 22nd, and I think 2 days ago, on the 20th, maybe the 19th, a trailer was released by a group, I think they're called Playground Media, and it's a short 45-second trailer, but it features many of the original backyard sports kids, notably with their original character designs, and the trailer seemingly insinuates that at some point, hopefully very soon, there will be a full-blown revival of the backyard sports series. And there has been a pretty considerable outpour on social media, jubilation almost, that this backyard sports series that has been dormant for so long is being revived. And it is one of the very rare examples, in my opinion, of a franchise being revived that I think would have a positive overall reception. As I'm sure a lot of y'all have noticed, we have been living, I would say, in the past 15 years or so in this new pop culture zeitgeist where everything is a sequel and everything is a reboot. Like, if there was a successful movie, video game, TV show that was released before 2012, Hollywood will excavate that grave. We are in the grave robbing era of Hollywood right now. And very few of these revivals have gone well, especially when it's not just a sequel, when it's actually a remake of the original. Like, one good example from this year is the Roadhouse remake. Roadhouse is one of my favorite 1980s, so cheesy it's good action movie starring Patrick Swayze, and the soundtrack is phenomenal, featuring Jeff Healey, one of my favorite blues guitarists of that era. It really is one of those iconic 1980s action movies where there's more fighting than actual lines of dialogue. And yet for some reason, very recently, somebody came up with the idea of, let's remake that film, but with Jake Gyllenhaal and Conor McGregor. And I know a few people who've seen the remake and they've said it's good, but I refuse to watch it on principle because I love the original so much. Why do you need to remake a classic when literally nobody was asking for this? That's the era that we're in pop culture right now. But the backyard sports franchise, I think, is one of the very few franchises that could be revived in a proper way and would have mostly positive reception. So in this video, I'm going to be reacting to what's been released so far and, kind of like my wish list for if this really does go through, if there really is going to be a full-blown revival of the backyard sports series, what I would like to see as somebody who grew up on these games and has played these games on YouTube for the past 4 years. So one thing that I will mention is that so far, the press release cycle has been very vague. A lot of people are overreacting, saying, oh, backyard baseball is back. New backyard baseball game confirmed. Nothing's been confirmed yet. Absolutely nothing has been confirmed yet. Everything is up in the air and hypothetical right now. Playground Productions have insinuated that, late in this year, there's gonna be some sort of game. They also want to do like cross-media stuff, like potentially television or even movies. And I will link their website as well as their new backyard sports website. I think it's literally just backyardsports.com. The website is really cool aesthetically. It's the original backyard sports main menu treehouse. And I will add, what I really do like about this project so far is that the production team is seemingly sticking to the original character models from like the very original first Humongous Entertainment era wave of the backyard sports games. I think those are the most iconic player models, and those are the ones that just everyone recognizes. They're just culturally very significant. And so even though, of course, the animation is a bit more seamless and smooth than it was in the computer games from 25 years ago, I do appreciate that at the very least they are doing their best to pay homage to the original character design. I think that's really special and very important. So as of right now, there's a merch store. You can buy like the $185 embroidered #1 Pablo Sanchez backyard sports jersey if that's something you'd be into. And like I said, aesthetically, it all looks very, very cool, but the actual plans are all very up in the air, very vague. Some people seem to think that maybe this is just like a testing trailer. They're just kind of putting feelers out there to see if there really will be any interest, maybe just trying to secure investors for future projects. So definitely don't get your hopes up too much. Nothing has been confirmed as of me recording this video, but at least in terms of the prospect, the potential of a full-blown backyard sports revival, including a slew of games, which they have said they mainly want to target PC and mobile first. I think that's a good idea. That will be awesome. And listen, as a backyard sports YouTuber, semi-retired, I would love to participate in the process somehow. Like if they were to send me an early access demo of the new backyard baseball to play, I would love to participate. And on that note, I will go over my wish list for any of these games moving forward. One notable thing that has not been confirmed by the team at Playground so far is whether or not they will be affiliated with any professional sports leagues. And I do think that even if they were to just remaster the original backyard sports games with only the original backyard kids, it would still be pretty successful. But you do have to acknowledge that a big appeal of that first generation of games were being able to play with certain pro players portrayed as kids. The major league sports leagues tie-in was a big selling factor for a lot of those games. So I certainly do hope that those licenses are, renewed, also brought back in, because playing with the backyard crew again in a new game would be cool, but I would like to see some modern pros in these games. Now, as far as backyard baseball is concerned, before I get back to the topic of pros being featured in the game, I will add, here are a few gameplay things that I would like to see improved in a hypothetical new backyard baseball game. I do think the original gameplay model really does not need to be tweaked that much, actually. It's a simple, basic game, easy to pick up, and it really does mostly fall into the if it ain't broke, don't fix it model. But a few things that I would like to see improved upon, especially upon the Backyard Baseball 2003 version of the game, that's the one I play. Here's some things that I would like to see improved in a hypothetical new game. The CPU base running AI has to improve. Like, it is really fun to cheese it, but that just has to be improved. The CPU AI in general should be better. Also, the fact that dropped catches are so common. Like, I do understand that, the characters are all kids and they're not going to be perfect at baseball, but I mean, the amount of errors in some of these backyard baseball games, as you guys have seen if you watch my videos, it does get kind of ridiculous at times. And I think the biggest gameplay mechanic that we'd all love to see improved is the fact that in the original backyard baseball games, there is no ability to tag up on fly balls, and that is one of the easiest things for the CPU to exploit to turn double plays on you. And of course, you as a user can also take advantage of the CPU in that way to turn double plays on them. It is, kind of a cheesy, nostalgic quirk of the original backyard baseball games, but that definitely needs to be improved upon. So now let's move on to the most fun part of the video, going back to my wish to see modern pros in these games. One thing that was really special about backyard baseball in particular, especially the 2001 and 2003 releases, was the fact that there was at least one pro representative for each major league team. And I would like to see that in not only a re-release remaster of backyard baseball, but in every other game in the franchise as well. It is a bit interesting that in, for example, backyard football, backyard basketball, you had a small selection of pros rather than one for every single major league team. I think in one of the later versions of backyard football that nobody actually played, it was like Backyard Football 09, I think there was a pro for every single team, but nobody remembers that one because that was, when the series was unrecognizable by that point. So it has been done before, and I would like to see it done again. What I'd like to see you guys do in the comments is list off, choose one league, whether it's the MLB, NHL, Major League Soccer even, of course the NFL and the NBA, and list off, if you had to choose one pro from every single team, who would you choose to be their representative in a hypothetical new backyard sports game? I do think this would be challenging with some sports, especially football, for example. Like, one of the big problems with the original backyard football is that most of the pros are quarterbacks, so there's really not much diversity among, who you can choose from the pro players. With backyard football, it would be a challenge because if you're thinking of, who's the most popular player on each team, for most teams, it would be the quarterback. So if you've got to put, 30-something pros in a game, how do you make it more balanced so that it's not just, 20 quarterbacks and then the remaining few players are just a hodgepodge of other random positions? And for some teams, this would be really challenging. Like, look at the 49ers. Would your representative for the 49ers be Christian McCaffrey? Would it be Brock Purdy? Would it be George Kittle? that'd be a very tough decision for the programmers to make. And then for a hypothetical NBA tie-in backyard basketball game, I'd love to see Victor Wembanyama in the game, because I mean, his player model would be so hilarious. He'd have the Ernie Steele build, but even taller probably. And another thing to note also is that in the original backyard basketball, they didn't have an NBA license, but they did have 2 pro players appearing independently. They had Kevin Garnett from the NBA and Lisa Leslie from the WNBA. And so with how popular the WNBA has become over the past year, it would also be pretty cool to see WNBA players in a backyard basketball game. Like we could see Caitlin Clark or Kelsey Plum or Sabrina Ionescu also appearing in a backyard basketball game. That would be pretty cool to have players from both leagues, both the NBA and WNBA. That'd have a lot of appeal, I think. So sound off in the comments section about which pros you'd like to see in these games. Again, think of a league and then choose one player from each team. Definitely going to be a tough call for certain teams. And so those are my brief thoughts. I will say that yes, if there was a full-blown release of backyard baseball and all the other games, that I would play at least one video with each game on my channel. Would I do a full-blown series? Maybe if there was like a really big overhaul to the season play function somehow. Like I do hope that they change very little about the games, so that would mean keeping the season play function basically the same, keeping the path to the championship basically the same. So I can't say that if the season playthrough function is exactly the same to the original games, I'd be very interested in playing a full season with a team, but I am definitely interested in producing some videos for any of these games should they actually come to fruition. So with all that in mind, what do y'all think? Are you excited for this? Are you a bit, kind of pessimistic? You're just waiting to hear more? I'm definitely waiting to hear more concrete plans before I, really get excited about it. And hey, maybe I'll see y'all again on this channel very soon playing, hopefully, a new backyard sports game in 2024 before GTA 6 even comes out. How crazy is that?